Alright guys, 2008 Dodge Caliber, well overdue. Let's go ahead and get this oil change started. Currently the car's at about 113,000 miles, and since my last oil change, let's see, it's been almost 10,000 miles. So I'd say I'm pretty far past due, and I should go ahead and get that taken care of. It's been really busy and whatnot, so I've been neglecting the car, even though that's something I definitely shouldn't do. But I'm going to take care of it now. Better late than never. Positioned right where I need it. Go ahead and show you that if I can. Right there. So I'm going to go ahead and jack it up. Get the car on jack stands. And then we'll start draining the oil out. So I got the car jacked up as high as I'd want it. Right there. You got both jack stands in place. Now I can go ahead and lower this jack and get it out the way. Nice and slowly. Alright, so before I actually go ahead and drain the oil, I like to come over here and actually just loosen the cap so it doesn't get all tight from the pressure later. And I'll actually just help the oil flow out better and faster. So before you actually go and start draining oil, make sure you have everything you need. Get your oil ready. Get your sockets. Make sure you know what size you need. In the case of this car, it's a 17 millimeter. I like to have a dirty rag with me just so I can wipe my hands every now and then. As you can see, I'm not wearing gloves, and I don't know why. It's a bad habit. I don't like to wear gloves. I got my oil drain pan right there. I got a couple different oil filter wrenches right there as well. So that way, you know, I can see which one works and get that oil filter off, and I don't have to jamble around looking for the right one. So I'll just go ahead and show you where the oil filter is, where the oil pan is, and where the drain plug is. So when you get under the car, here's your oil pan, and there's the drain plug. 17 millimeter. Have the oil drain pan ready underneath, and then right there in front of it, if I can get a good angle on that, right there is the oil filter. After all the oil stops draining out of here, put this little bolt back in, clean it up, and then move the drain pan right underneath here, and go ahead and take this guy out. Let the oil drain out from there. Real simple. Let's go ahead and get it done. You can be careful here not to get any on your hands. It really doesn't matter. I'm probably going to get some on my hands right now, but it's a pain in the ass to clean off your hands. So wear gloves. Place this down on a rag. And then once that's done draining, we can go ahead and put the plug back and then drain out from the filter. I'm going to go ahead and plug it back up. Make sure you're very careful here, don't cross thread or anything like that. Get that in there real nice and get it in there the right way. You don't want, this definitely isn't something that you want to put in wrong and have any issues later down the road. You shouldn't have to use any force. It should go in fairly smooth. As it is now. I mean, it's going in really easy. I'm not really applying any pressure there. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that area down now. Take my ratchet here, tighten it back down. Alright. Now we can go ahead and move this drain pan under the oil filter. Grab an oil filter wrench. So I like to use this one. It opens up like that, and then as you turn on it, it tightens up on the filter, and then that's it. It's pretty simple. I might need an extension though. At this point I should be able to just remove it by hand. Again, same thing. This is going to drip out oil. So try to get that oil pan positioned, and in this case it is all over my hands. Alright, so I've gone ahead and washed my hands. Finished letting all the oil drain out of that filter. Now I went ahead and already put the plug back on. I got to put the new filter in place, make sure it's all tightened down, and then we can go and fill up the oil. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that old oil filter. I'm going to shove it right here in the box for the new one. Let it kind of drip out in there. Don't want a huge mess again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that bag up, throw it away. Actually, I'll take all this back to AutoZone when I take the old oil back for them to recycle. Let them take care of tossing this stuff out the right way. So, something that I like to do that most people do is write today's date down on this new oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Today's August 15th. I'm going to write that down on here. It's right there, 8/15/2019. This is just so I can keep track of when I put this in and everything. Again, I'm going to write all this stuff down on my phone, so it doesn't really matter that much, but it's just something I like to do. And I'll also go ahead and write down today's date somewhere on that 5-quart container of motor oil, just in case if I don't use it all. And that's 5 quarts. I should only be using about 4.5, a little bit less than that, so I'll have a little bit over half a quart left. So right here is where the filter goes. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that down, get it clean. All right. And then with the new filter, get out from underneath here. I'll go ahead and crack open the new bottle of oil, and right around that gasket, I'll get some oil on my fingertip and just rub it around on there, just so when I twist it on, it makes a really nice seal. So pretty much after I do that, I'm going to take the oil filter, and you don't need an oil filter wrench or anything for this part, and the one I use is only for removing anyways, but you just need to get the oil filter on by hand, and then once you have it on hand tight, try to get like another quarter turn out of it, and that's perfect. You don't need it any more than that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to get it on there. Same thing with like we did with the oil drain plug. Just try your best to make sure you don't cross thread it. And if you feel like you're having a hard time, stop, take it off, just take your time. There's no rush. So I got it on just about where I can. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get like another quarter turn on there, like I said. Alright, and that's the best I can do. So that's where I'm going to stop. Now, as far as the oil drain plug right here, we're going to go ahead and torque that down. Now, it's recommended that you torque it down to about 25 to 30 foot-pounds. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Alright, so I got my torque wrench. If you got a smaller torque wrench that can fit under here a lot easier, that would be great, but I don't. So this is what I'm going to work with. I guess 25 foot-pounds is not that much, so it shouldn't take much to get there. So honestly, I was probably already at about 25 foot-pounds before I even grab the torque wrench, but I like to make sure. And for those of you who don't know how to use a torque wrench, you can find a bunch of videos online. It's fairly easy and it's a really nice tool to have. So now that we got everything down here tightened up, we got the drain plug tightened up, got the oil filter tightened up, let's go ahead and get on top of the car and fill up the oil. Alright guys, so this car requires about 4 1/4 quarts of motor oil. So let's go ahead and do that. On the back of the motor oil there's measurements, quarts and liters, and each line is a quart. So down to there will be 1, 2, 3. By the time I get there I'll be at 4. I'll go up to about there and I'll be solid. Let's go ahead and get this started. Alright guys, so I'm at about a 4 1/4 quarts. Now, just to specify, this is a 2008 Dodge Caliber, and the manufacturer recommends using 5W20. What I'm using here is not that. I'm using 10W30. It's not to say that a car from 08 is old, but this is a fairly old car, and it's got a lot of miles on it, so I thought going with a thicker oil might be something I'd want to try out. I'm going to see how it runs over the next few months, and if I don't like the way it feels, I'll go back to 520. Otherwise, I'm probably going to stick with 1030. And I know they make high mileage oils, I just wanted to try this out. So, real simple guys. Going to go ahead and screw the cap back on. Start the car up and take it for a spin, get that oil cycling throughout, and that's it. Not too difficult. That's how you do an oil change on any car. But again, this right here, 2008 Dodge Caliber SXT.